Step 3 is to make sure you have something to throw at the camera.
Consent is a yes or no answer.
If somebody gives you consent and you're still questioning that consent, then you'd rather not do that thing.
I could be powerful, beautiful, and unstoppable. Yeah, that's who I am. I'll be true, that's where I stand. Yeah, nothing, baby, but no one's gonna take me. Yeah, that's who I am. Always know I got a plan. Yeah.
What's up, Skaibu? We are so happy to join for another episode of the SISTA show.
SISTA stands for Sky is staying true always, because that's our thing. Sisi kama Sky Girls, we are all about staying true to who we are and what we believe in.
But kenye ni important is for us to be ourselves. Nasi kile mtu anabelieve.
And this is what we have in store for you for this episode. We are going to learn some seamless transitions from our Sky Big Sis. Alafu, tutahead kwa pink couch to discuss about meaning of consent na making of choices.
So hapo kwenye huko, hit that subscribe button if you haven't for us to vibe every week. I'm your host, Mario Wendy. Listening to music is my thing. Gossiping is definitely not my thing.
And I am Stephanie Rebecca. Swimming is my thing. Body shaming is not my thing.
So let's get this started.
The creative juices are flowing today, and that's what's up. Karibuni sana to the Creative Corner, where we are going to learn on how to elevate our social media game. Kwa studio leo tuko na our Sky Big Sis, who's going to teach us some fire transitions.
Hi Sky Girls, my name is Temina. I'm a social media content creator and I'm here today to show Maggie and all of you how to film seamless fashion transitions. Step 1 is to make sure you have a tripod. Step 2 is to make sure you mark where you're standing so that when you stand there the next time, you're in the same exact place. Step 3 is to make sure you have something to throw at the camera. It should be light and then it should also match what you're wearing.
Why should it match what I'm wearing?
Because if it's like black and you change into white, it won't be as aesthetic. This is basically just for aesthetics.
Okay.
Yeah, and then an extra tip is to make sure this doesn't move so that it's as seamless as possible. And then so that you have some fun while you're recording, you can play the audio in the back. I'm just going to start playing this audio and then we begin.
Know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
So that's just what you do first, and then you're going to cut. And then you're going to go get your blazer, come stand at the same exact place, and then film again. Okay, so once you're in the same exact place, you're just going to stand in front of the camera again. You make sure this hasn't moved, and you're just going to play your audio again.
So you have to make sure that your audio is short.
Yeah, it could be short, but it could also be long, but preferably short to make it more fun and quick, so that you don't spend like 10 hours filming. Okay, so we're going to play it again.
I guess we'll never know.
And then you'll stop filming right there, and then now it will be time for editing.
Which app do you use for editing?
I use many apps, but for this one, I'll show you and everyone else the easiest app to use once you're done doing your part. So now, are you ready? Do you have any questions?
Why do you have to make sure that you're using the back camera?
Yes, so you could use the back camera for quality, but since you can't see yourself, you can place a mirror so that you can be able to see what you're doing in the mirror while you record.
Okay.
I hope you're ready. Good luck.
Let's do this.
What I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
You did amazing. I'm sure it's so seamless and you looked happy while you were doing it, and that's the most important part. So now let's edit. Let's see how you did. So the app I use to edit is called LumaFusion. So basically what you do first is import both videos onto your timeline. And then all you're going to do is cut where you threw the first one to the camera, and then continue with the clip where you threw it and then you were in the second outfit. So you have to make sure you cut at the correct part. That's actually what makes it seamless, because if you cut at the wrong part, then it makes it look weird. So as you can see, this is where you threw. We're going to cut there. The first time you cut when it's covered the camera.
Yeah.
And then you cut there, and the second time you cut when it's a bit below the camera, so that it looks like it's falling from where it blocked the camera to below. So we cut at the end of this, and you have your seamless video.
Wow, it looks so easy.
I guess we'll never know.
Tell us how Maggie did. I think she nailed it. See you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Welcome to the Pink Couch. I'm your host, Lydia. You know, as Sky Girls, it's our thing to discuss things that matter to us. Because by the end of the day, we all know what's best for us. And today we're going to have a pretty interesting topic. We're going to discuss about how to make choices that are best for us, and also going to discuss about consent when it comes to a relationship. But before we dive into the conversation, we'll let our guests introduce themselves. And besides that, they're also going to tell us one unique thing about them.
Hi guys, my name is Lillian Kunyiha and I am a counseling psychologist, especially for the youth. And one unique thing about me is I like my space.
Hello, my name is Michelle Oluoch. I am a human rights advocate, especially for the youth, specializing in violence prevention and sexual reproductive health. One unique thing about me, one thing about me is that I do like to practice yoga.
Well, welcome to the Pink Couch. As a person, I find it so hard to find friends and how to control my friendships. Can you kindly tell us how to navigate a relationship?
When you are trying to navigate through a friendship, you need to really know who you are first before even trying to look for someone else. And you also need to know why. Why do I need a friend, or why do I need to look for a certain person? That's when you have already identified who you are, you've already identified your values and your beliefs and your principles. So that when you're trying to look for friends, you know, you'll be able to look for people, at least they are able to go with your vibe.
Even as you continue navigating through friendship, navigating through life, when you establish your boundaries and you know your boundaries, it becomes easier for you to sift out those people that you don't want to associate with.
Well, as a girl, I find it so hard. I always think of getting into a relationship, but also come to think of it, I'm not really into the PDA, but I would really, really love to be in a relationship. How can I go about with that?
What I'm hearing is that you're feeling like you want to get into a relationship, and then you're feeling like you have some pressure to get into PDA. So I would throw the question back at you, what is your boundary for PDA? Because you'll find a lot of girls or a lot of young people, a lot of adolescents will do things that doesn't come naturally to them because one, they're thinking this is what you need to do when you have a partner, or the partner is asking you to do these things, and you know you don't want to seem like you're not into the relationship. It sounds complicated, but then again it is not, because it becomes easier once you understand all these things about yourself. And even when you've already established these boundaries, you know, the more you know yourself and the more you grow and your circumstances change, it becomes easier for you to, you know, say no. No is also an answer. Because you've asked a question, no is an answer. Yeah.
For me, the extent of my PDA is just holding hands. And come to think of it, looking at what's happening on social media, I can say that there's this type of expectation that some girls want in their relationship. What can you say about that?
As a teenager, there are things that you see and maybe you feel like, I like that, I would like that in a relationship. But you've not yet really known what is behind what they are showing on social media. But at the end of the day, ask yourself, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Is this right for me? And am I even ready to do this?
Or are you doing something because you don't want to be rejected and you know you're not comfortable? You know, people around you can see you're not comfortable. It's a very, shall I say, dicey situation. It's really back and forth because you want to belong, but at the same time, you're not comfortable. So how then do you navigate that? And I think that's where now it's good to have those people in your corner who will, you know, tell you and be there for you and let you know that, you know, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. Yeah.
And What is consent? Because as for me, consent means agreement to do something. And so what's your take on this?
Every time when consent comes about, the first thing that people think about is sexual, to do with sexual connotations. But consent is everywhere because it is permission to do something. So I always tell people, the consent, when somebody gives consent, it shouldn't be something that you're still trying to figure out, was it a yes or a no? When somebody comes and asks you something and then you're like, what is that? I always say it has to be a yes or a no. Something that you can quantify, or you don't have to question yourself. If somebody gives you consent and you're still questioning that consent, then you'd rather not do that thing that you wanted to do.
Consent is a yes or no answer. And sometimes it's so hard for youth or teenagers to say no because we fear rejection, to be truthful. Personally, I do fear rejection. And, also we like this person. So how can we go all about this?
It's just to affirm that this is not something that is strange. It's something that, unfortunately, we will go through time and time again. And I'll just take it back again to boundaries, because you will meet people who will not respect your boundaries.
Yeah.
And then you'll also meet people who will respect your boundaries, and you have similar boundaries, and it becomes so much easier to speak with them and associate with them. So when you have this first boyfriend and they're telling you to do something that you're not comfortable with, how far are you willing to compromise your boundaries? And that is very hard to answer sometimes, because it can go very far. It can be quite harmless, such as holding hands, and it can be going very far to doing things that you probably would never have done under normal circumstances. So I think it's just something to just continuously affirm yourself that you know what's best for yourself.
It's so hard to identify a healthy relationship and a toxic one. So how can we identify one?
When you talk about a healthy relationship, there are some things that it has to have in it for it to be called healthy. And one of it is respect. There needs to be respect. Respect of your values, you respect the values of your boyfriend or the guy that you're interested in. And there is open communication in it, that there is trust. And also there is also the respect of, I am not coming here to change you. I'm not coming here to force you to like the things I like, So in a healthy relationship, let you enjoy. It's all about enjoyment and complimenting each other. As you do that, let there be trust, let there be open communication, let there be honesty, because when you're starting out, and you're not maybe sure, that is the time now you're able to know, I like this guy, so let's continue. 3 months down the line, you find that there are some things that, so you usually do this, and maybe I didn't know. So there is where you ask yourself, am I ready to still continue even when this person is doing this? When you start finding that someone is trying to control your uniqueness, then there you start to identify that this is no longer a healthy relationship and this is a toxic relationship, and you're no longer comfortable in it anymore.
It usually starts very subtle. You won't even notice that it is happening until it gets to a point where you've realized you don't have friends, you don't even talk to your parents anymore, nobody knows anything about you. It'll always be, people know you exist and that's it. So then they have total dominion, your control, wameku control kila kitu. So such that now you become the only person they become the only person that you can go to. And that's where now the toxicity comes from. And even just to add on to what she said, it's important not to look at relationships with rose-colored glasses. Tunaangalia TikTok, IG reels. They look so cute doing the little dances together and getting T-shirts with their faces on it and whatever. It's very cute. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's cute. But that's the only thing we're seeing. So it's also important to not romanticize relationships. This is not a Disney film. It's not it's real life. And it's important to just know that things can go, it's not exactly a straight road. There can be bumps along the way. And all these things are the things that also make the relationship interesting.
And from the movies I've watched, in relation to the toxic relationship, it is so sad to see that a girl has these small insecurities, that she once loved herself, she appreciated herself, and then once they met this particular guy, everything just changed. So I've really learned a lot from you guys. This was so educative. I appreciate your presence here.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. And you guys back at home, remember that you deserve pressure-free friendships, and besides that, you do not let anybody pressurize you into doing things that you don't want. And if you really need somebody to talk to, Sky Girls is here for you. And besides that, you can bonga confidentially now 1-to-1 on 1190, and it's totally toll-free on call or text. Till next time, this is all we had from the Pink Coach. Bye.
Here's what you expect in the next episode.
In our next episode, tutakuwa na our previous sister show host. Watatu advice kuhusu relationships, friendships, na also our social medias. Alafu after hapo, tutaenda kutengeneza some smoochers na itakuwa tamu sana.
Usisahau kutuning for some dope, fun and great content. That's all the time we had for today. Lakini, si unajua the drill. Catch us next week, same place, same time, dope vibes. We'd also love you to be part of the Sister Show. So, tuambie your favorite segment on our social media platforms.
Follow us at Sky Girls KE, pale Facebook, Instagram, na pia TikTok. Na kabla nisahau, if you'd like to be part of the Sky Squad, then utachukua pledge pale kwa website yetu, and then boom, wewe ni Sky Sis. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Mario Wendy.
And I am Stephanie Rebecca. Till then, be true to you, boo. Bye.